Hello, 大家好, I'm Grace from Grace Mandarin Chinese. In Taiwan, most people speak Mandarin, but some of our speaking habits might puzzle you because it's different from what you learn in textbooks. So in this video, I will introduce you to 5 common Taiwanese speaking habits so it will make sense to you when you encounter them in the future. The first speaking habit is how Taiwanese reply to thank you. 这个给你，谢谢你，不会。What does 不会 mean here? When replying to 谢谢, in Taiwan, many people say 不会to express 不客气. You're welcome. It might be influenced by Taiwanese Hokkien where you can say 杯, which can mean 不会 to reply to a thank you. So in daily life, Taiwanese people often reply to 谢谢 with 不会
可是还是要多喝水哦。
好，谢谢。
不会。
谢谢啊。
The second one is the tendency to politely decline. 你想吃这个吗？我还好。所以你要吃吗？先不要好了。所以你等一下要吃吗？我要留给你吗？哦，没关系啦。Why didn't you just say no directly? Taiwanese people tend to tactfully turning someone down. Sometimes you might not even realize that you're being turned down. Here are some phrases we commonly use when declining something. Number 1. 我还好. 我还好. When you offer something to a Taiwanese person or invite them to participate in something, but they don't want it or aren't feeling it, they might say 我还好. 我还好. To turn down the offer. It expresses the meaning of, I don't really want it, or, I don't really feel like it.
所以你没有事情要帮忙？我还好，谢谢。
The second phrase is, 先不要好了. 先不要好了. Maybe later, not for now. 先 means first or for now. So 先不要 means not for now. 好了 here is to show that the speaker thinks this is more appropriate for the situation. 先不要好了 expresses the meaning of I don't want it for now or I don't need it for now. In Taiwan, it's a polite way to turn down an offering. The verb 要 to want or to need can also be changed to other verbs depending on the context. For example, 你明天会跟我们去看电影吗？你明天会跟我们去看电影吗？ Will you join us to watch a movie tomorrow? 我身体有点不舒服，明天先不去好了。我身体有点不舒服，明天先不去好了。I'm feeling a bit unwell, so I think I will pass for tomorrow. The third one is没关系. In Taiwan, we usually pronounce it as 没关系. This phrase is often used as a response when someone apologizes to you. But in Taiwan, we can also use it to decline offers of help or things. For example, 你想喝水吗？没关系。你要帮忙吗？没关系，谢谢。The third speaking habit is using 帮我 to make a request. This is especially common in the service industry in Taiwan. Many servers often use 帮我 when making requests to their customers. For example, 您好，请帮我在后面排队哦。您好，请帮我在后面排队哦。Hello, could you please line up at the back? A more literal translation would be, Hello, please help me line up at the back. 您好，请帮我到后面排队哦。请帮我在这里签名。 请帮我在这里签名。Sign here, please. A more literal translation would be, please help me sign here. 请帮我在这里签名。请帮我把手机拿出来。请帮我把手机拿出来。Take out your phone, please. A more literal translation would be, please help me take out the phone. 请帮我把手机拿出来。好，我拿出你的手机了。是拿你的，不是我的啦。So if you come to Taiwan, you will definitely need to get used to this 帮我 and understand that many people, mostly in the service industry, just add this phrase to make their requests sound more polite. The next speaking habit is using some special sentence final particles. In Taiwan, we have some special sentence final particles that don't exist in standard Mandarin, so it might sound a bit confusing. For example, we use the particle 齁 in many different situations. I've talked about it in one of my previous videos. Let's take a look. 齁. Sometimes it's also written as these two characters. 齁 can be used when you want to get confirmation from others. It's like 是不是, isn't it? Or 对吧, right? For instance, 你可以齁 It's okay with you, right? 这家店很大齁 This shop is large, isn't it? It can also be used in imperative sentences as a reminder. It's like 好吗 Okay? Or 知道吗 Do you know? For instance, 不要吃太多零食齁等一下就要吃晚餐了不要吃太多零食齁Don't eat too many snacks, okay? 等一下就要吃晚餐了 We're going to have dinner soon. 多穿一点齁今天很冷哦多穿一点齁 Dress warmly, okay? 今天很冷哦 It's cold today. 齁 can also be added after 对 as in 对齁 It's used when someone says something to you that reminds you about something that you forgot. So it's like, all right in English. For example, 上次你跟我借的200元还没还 Hey, you haven't given me back the $200 that you borrowed. 对齁我都忘记了 All right, I completely forgot about that. 我提醒你很多次了耶 I've reminded you many times. 对齁你讲过很多次了耶 All right, you have told me many times. 这个人是金鱼脑还是根本不想还钱啊这个人是金鱼脑 Does this person have a goldfish brain? 还是根本不想还钱啊 Or does she basically not want to give back the money at all? Sometimes 齁 is just used to add a pause when someone is speaking, and it also makes the conversation sound more casual. For instance, 这个齁我也不知道耶这个齁我也不知道耶 This, I don't know either. 事情是这样子的齁事情是这样子的齁 Here is what's going on. Here is the story. If you want to learn more about sentence final particles used in Taiwan, check out this video. Alright, the last one is mixing some Taiwanese and unique English expressions into conversations. In daily life, you might hear Taiwanese people using some Taiwanese or Taiwanese-style English in conversations. Here are some examples. The first one is 嘿啊 This Taiwanese phrase 嘿啊 means 是啊 or 对啊 meaning yes or right.
请问你是谭先生吗？
哎呀
The second one is 阿哉 means 我不知道 I don't know. But it's very casual, so we normally just use it with our close friends. 你觉得他会喜欢我吗？阿哉，你不会先告白哦。The third one is not a good word. 北七 means 白痴 which is idiot, and it can also be used as an adjective meaning stupid or dumb. And because the number 87 in Mandarin is 八七, which sounds similar to 北七. So people also use this number to express the same meaning.
之类的，
俗称的恋爱北七啦。
对
对。
In Taiwan, we often use po to mean to post. So for example, 你看到他昨天 po 的文了吗？没有欸，他 po 了什么？他 po 了一张他在国外的照片，他好像去了瑞士，好羡慕哦。Another one is social. Taiwanese people like to use social to express to socialize. For instance, to say good at socializing, in daily life you might hear Taiwanese people say 很会 social. 很会 social. 他真的很会 social. 他真的很会 social. Another example, to express I don't enjoy socializing, you might hear people say 我不爱 social. 我不爱 social. So next time when you hear Taiwanese people use social in daily conversations, remember it means socialize. The next one is loading. In Taiwan, people often use loading to express workload. So for example, Taiwanese people might say 我这学期修的课 loading 很重。我这学期修的课 loading 很重. And this means the workload for the classes I'm taking this semester is very heavy. Another example. 你还好吗？不太好。最近工作 loading 越来越重，都没时间休息了。哎，辛苦你了。If you want to learn more Taiwanese expressions like these, check out this video. Alright, that's all for today. If you have visited Taiwan or are currently living here, I'd love to hear your impressions about Taiwanese Mandarin and whether there are any aspects that you find unfamiliar or different from what you're used to. 那如果你喜欢今天的影片，别忘记按赞、订阅和分享哦。And also, if you'd like to learn some daily Mandarin expressions, check out my Instagram, Grace Mandarin. 那我们就下次见喽，拜拜。